I just said, oh, I don't drink wine. I thought, I must do it that way, real throwaway. But when you're playing that character, and almost everybody knows what he's really like, and many have read the book or seen the old movies, and you have to say to Jonathan Harker, sleep well, Mr. Harker. I thought, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I don't know how I'm going to get away with this one. When we had the premiere in New York, I put this in my book. It's on my birthday, actually. I didn't want to go because I don't like seeing myself on the screen. I hate it. And I was forced to go because that was why I was there. I don't know whether it was a midnight showing, but it was a late night showing, basically for actors and actresses and directors and people who worked in the theatre to come and see after they'd finished their shows. That was the idea. I sat there and this crowd started coming in until the cinema was full. And some of them were well and truly tanked up. I don't know what they thought they were going to see. And the lights went down. Woo! The lights went down, the curtains parted. And the certificate came on. And then there's the famous shot of a stone coffin with the word written on the side. And the drops of blood. And they went berserk. Because they knew what was going to happen eventually. And eventually, of course, there's the famous shot when Jonathan Harker, played by the late John Van Eysen, senses and turns around, and there's this silhouette at the top of the stairs. And the roof lifted. Roars of applause, cheering away like mad, laughing themselves silly, by which time I was under the seat. What they thought they were going to see, I had really no idea. What they did see is what everybody's seen since. And apparently a reasonably normal-looking person walking down the stairs and go over and saying, good evening, Mr. Harker, you know. The silence, it was quite beyond belief. It was like cutting the sound in a film. Whoosh, like that. Total and complete silence. Total for the rest of the entire film. It's not what you see, it's what you don't see. In the imagination of the audience. Leave it to them, as Boris said. They will think of something much worse than what we're doing.
I think Fisher would have been delighted by that response, wouldn't he?
Well, yeah, well, I told him, of course. Naturally, it became common knowledge. It's in my book, too. It was an occasion, it was a very important one in my life. At the time, I have to add that, at the time, of enormous importance. I've always said so. But times have changed.
But Fisher was a craftsman, wasn't he? I mean, that Dracula,
yes.
I mean, the scene you just described just there, I mean, the care that he must have taken to orchestrate that. And he worked very closely with his directors of photography as well. They're very rich.
Jack Asher, of course. Jack Asher, who was a brilliant cameraman. Brilliant. And a lovely person, too. I mean, the whole atmosphere at Bray during those years, it really was like a family. I know it's a much hackneyed phrase, a family, but we really were, because everybody knew everybody. We all respected each other, at least as far as I know we did. And when I first went there was a little shack, almost, that we shot the Frankenstein laboratory in. That was the only stage, and the rest was shot in the house. And then, of course, because of the enormous amount of money at the time that those pictures made, they built the first big stage, which we did one of the Dracula films on, and certainly yes, I think it was and certainly The Mummy. We also shot some of The Mummy at Shepperton. One always has funny memories of these things. This great procession, of which I'm the priest, mourning over the death of the great princess with whom I was in such mad love, took place at Shepperton. So they had this tremendous parade. And there I am, and people around me, and priests, and guards, and warriors. And one of the extras had this cheetah, which was called chiefy, I think, on a chain. And he was in the procession. And I don't know how I get my face straight. But this is what I mean by fun. I'm looking noble and sad and priestly. And I hear a voice behind me say, if I let go of the chain, that'll start this lot into a gallop. And yes, it was called Chiefy. No, it wasn't a cheetah, it was a leopard. I must correct myself. I know it was a leopard because I had to take it into the famous hotel in Manchester. Anyway, I'm doing some publicity for The Mummy in Manchester, and we go to this hotel, and I've been told I go through the swinging doors, and then I'll meet the press and we'll talk. And a van drives up, and to my amazement, out comes a man with Chiefy on a chain. And somebody, I think it might have been Michael Carreras, said to me, will you take Chiefy in with you to the interview? And I thought, I don't believe this. Can you imagine getting stuck in a swinging door with an angry leopard? So I said, I'm not taking that animal in, not through a swinging door. So they opened another door, and I took him in. And he seemed quite unperturbed by the surroundings. Unlike the occupants, the concierge, the reception, the accountants, and the rest of them who just vanished. And the high, quavering voice said, get that animal out of here, for God's sake. People just vanished. Because they thought, you know, if this animal got irritated, which it usually, it's a wild animal.
So when was the last time you saw Terence Fisher, do you remember?
No.
I think it was The Devil Rides Out.
I don't know whether I saw him after we'd finished the film. Private showing, perhaps. And he wasn't all that old when he died, was he?
No, sadly.
What, was late 60s? I don't know. I know it happened, and very sad. He was a craftsman.
Christopher Lee, thank you very much.
Not at all.